Welcome back to My Classic Fords. So tonight we're going to put a power steering pump and a new power steering line on the 98 F150. I had it up to have it inspected for a motor vehicle inspection. Turns out it needs a power steering line. It's also leaking out of the actual pump around where the fitting goes in. I'm thinking it might be cracked. So we're going to see if we don't have time tonight as well to put a new set of front shocks on. That's one of the other things they caught for MVI. As you see, the bushings are completely shot. They're just dried. I don't know how old those are, but they're definitely well past due. So for MVI, it needed 2 front shocks and a power steering line. And in this case, I think it needs a pump as well. So we're going to swap out the pump, put a new line on, and if we got time, we'll throw the shocks on, and then this truck is ready to go up for sale. Okay, let's get at it. Now, I happen to have a spare engine up here, came out of a Lincoln Navigator. I know it was a good pump, and it's good and dry, so it doesn't look like it had any leaks. So we're going to give that a try. So I thought it'd be a good time to show you how to change one, because it's out of the truck and it's super easy to film this way. So essentially, this is your power steering pump. It's mounted on the driver's side of the engine down at the bottom. This one has 3 bolts in it, 2 on top, 1 in the bottom. This is your pressure line, so this would run to the steering box. And I didn't bother unhooking it because this one's cut off, obviously. So it bolts right there, or connects right there. So in the truck, we'll have to take that off properly. The other thing you need to look at is this is your reservoir, and it's connected by this rubber hose. So you just need to pull it off the pump. So I use vice grips for these clamps. I know some guys use pliers, and there is actually a proper tool for them, but this works just as well to me. I use vice grips because you can clamp them down, and then you don't have to worry about trying to hold it at the same time you're trying to move it. So after you take the clamp off, now I've already loosened this up. Sometimes you got to stick something in there and just work it around. So you take that off. As you see, I've already loosened all these bolts. So you take these 3 bolts out. Okay, now that the bolts are out, you just remove the pump. I'm noticing that this one here looks like it should have 4 bolts in it. My guess is somebody changed it at some point and probably put that pressure line on before they realized the bolt had to go in. So I'm guessing they just left it out. So either way, we will change it properly on ours. But yeah, so this is the pump. Really easy to remove when the engine's sitting on a pallet. It'll be interesting to see how hard it is on the truck. Okay, so we had to come back up to the pit. How come, buddy?
Because I dropped that down.
You dropped a wrench?
Yeah.
What are you going to use to get it out?
This.
What's that?
The fishing.
It's a fishing rod?
Here.
There you go.
Here.
Thanks, bud.
Welcome.
All right, let's go back to the house, change the pump.
Yes.
All right, so this is the first thing I'm doing. Just put this 1/2-inch breaker bar on the belt tensioner, and you just give that a push, and that loosens your belt. And pop the belt off, and now we'll crawl down underneath and take it off the pump and start taking the lines off the pump. All right, here's the other pump I brought down from the pit. There's the old pressure line that was cut off. So I just unscrewed that and just having a good look at it. I think what we're going to do, we're going to reach up under the truck, pull the belt off the pulley. I think I'm going to unhook that, which is going to let a lot of fluid go. So I got that old lid. I'll just keep the stuff off the garage floor. Okay, let's get at that. Okay, so we're under the truck. The belt is off the pulley right here. This is your power steering pump. I've removed the filler hose, which is on the other side of the pump. You really can't quite see it. If you can see that blue spout sticking out, that's where it was hooked on. Be prepared to get your drain pan out because it's gonna be full of fluid that goes right to the reservoir. Once that's unhooked, this pressure line here goes right into your pump. So we're gonna unhook that off the pump, and it comes around here to the top of your steering box. Now, fortunately for me, this truck is in really good shape, so it came off reasonably well. When I say reasonably well, it is almost impossible to reach. The power steering line, it goes up. I was trying to try and point it out to you. It goes up right here. Now, there's a lot of stuff in the way here. It's really hard to get in there. Once you do get a wrench on it, it's a bit of a struggle. I tried doing it from the wheel well. I'm not saying you can't, but it's difficult. Once you get a wrench on it, for me, it came right out. I'm going to go ahead and say if your truck is older and rusty, that's not going to come out so well. That's going to give you grief. Okay, so after a fair amount of effort and some great difficulty, I managed to get this pump out of here. Started with this line here. Once you thread this out, you got to get in there and pull this out of the steering box because there's a little rubber O-ring and it does fit in there pretty snug. This line had a little pinhole in it right here. It just had a little fog coming out of it when it was running. So that's why we're changing the line. Now, I was going to loosen this up, and I tried, and I just could not crack that free. So I ended up leaving this bolt in just like the last guy on the one in the pit. Luckily for me, I got the 3 bolts that came out of this, and the bolt that came out of the 3 that come out of the one in the pit. You know, if you wanted to put that bolt back in and you didn't have it, I would just take a zip cut that off, push it through. So this had a little pinhole in the line right here. And I see now that I think where it was leaking from in the pump was just around this piece. I see someone's got some Teflon or something maybe gobbed on there. I'm not sure. Either way, I had a little trickle coming down out of here on the truck. So I'm assuming that's probably where it was leaking, was around this piece. Either way, I'm not going to fix that pump. Don't care about it anymore. It was enough effort to get it out of the truck. We are going to put the one that we got out of the pit. That's good and dry. It's a remanufactured one. So I'm assuming, like I said, that's probably why it had a bolt left in it. Because somebody went through the same ordeal I did. So we're going to throw that on now. I'm going to put it back on, put the new power steering line on. And after that, I will put the belt back on, fill it up, and fire it up and look for leaks. All right, so we got the power steering pump put on. We got it filled back up. We got no leaks. So now that that's done, we got the new line on. Didn't have time tonight, starting to get dark. Didn't have time tonight to put the shocks on. So we'll do that tomorrow night. And once that's done, I have an appointment again first of next week. Take this old truck in, get that new safety sticker on it, and she's ready to go. All right, guys, thanks for watching.